Hey, brother! Guys, it is 1 week until Star Wars The Last Jedi hits theaters, and today, Ben and I wanted to discuss every theory we thought of in the last year.
Yeah, this video is like the conversation that you have like while you're waiting to go into the theater. Like,
right.
While you're buying your tickets, these are like all of the questions that you might have, that you might want to know about. These are the questions you should be asking going into this movie. So the premise for today is we're going to go through all of them, Jay versus Ben style.
Yep.
Make predictions as to what's going to happen, and then next week we're actually going to have a bonus upload, which kind of shows who did better.
Well, we don't know who's going to win this just yet. But so Derek is going to ask us questions we have not discussed ahead of time. We're going to write down what we think our prediction for the movie is, and then reveal and discuss and
compare next week.
Compare next week.
Also, guys, we are so excited. We did make a standalone video about this, but we are doing our December give-a-thon. We're giving away like all sorts of really cool swag, including
one of the things I'm super excited about. This is Poe's helmet from The Force Awakens, and we are going to be giving it away on Instagram at some point this month. We shall see.
It's super cool. So if you're already following along, we also have these really cool Star Wars cups that are going to be on there.
You gave yourself the Darth Vader, though.
I
like
did.
That's inappropriate.
No. Yeah, you have the Darth Vader
I have
t-shirt.
the shirt, but you know, see, because I am Luke's father now. You know what I mean?
Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, yes. Quick announcement. I'm a dad. We had the baby. Woo! He's adorable. Maybe Derek will put a picture of him on screen. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway. All right. Speaking of which, Derek, let's get this quiz underway.
Let's start just clean and easy. Who is the Last Jedi?
Oh, boy. Digging deep early on.
Oh, man. The big questions. 3, 2, 1.
Snoke.
Snoke?
No
way!
We have the same one! I did not know you were going to say Snoke.
I so thought we were going to argue about this. I thought you were going to say Luke.
Okay, so I feel like ultimately that's going to apply to a bunch of characters. I said Snoke, meaning that like the Jedi Order has fallen, and that Snoke is going to have been... I think he's going to be like 1,000 years old, which is why he wasn't around.
Right. I think the introduction, you have the exact same argument of me.
Okay.
You have the introduction of Maz, who we know to have lived for at least 1,000 years. Yoda, who lived nearly 1,000 years. These are characters in the universe that basically predated going back to the Old Republic.
Right. Pre-Clone Wars, all that.
At that time, there was no Sith. If you turned to the dark side of the Force, you were considered a fallen Jedi.
Right. So I think my thought is that he will be the last of what he considers to be true Jedi, and that whatever happened that made him leave is going to make him think that that's when they became corrupted and stopped truly being Jedi.
Fascinating take on it. I had not gotten to that point. That's really cool.
Okay. That's where I'm at.
Question 2.
So Snoke, man.
Jeez.
Surprising answer. Okay,
yeah.
we agree.
Is someone in this movie going to lose an arm? And maybe a prediction of who.
I am so surprised you have to think about this.
I'm trying to think of who.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Okay. Oh,
I'm not going to change my mind. We'll go forward with it. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
No.
Kylo Ren.
Really?
Interesting. At the hands of who?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Probably Rey.
Probably Rey.
Probably
Rey. If it would be anybody, it's going to be Rey.
Luke, though.
Possibly Luke.
I do not think we will see Luke with a lightsaber in this movie.
Oh, I disagree with you. Hard disagree.
I bet it happens in the first 5 minutes.
No,
really?
I don't think that either.
Yeah.
No, they're not going to do that.
We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so here's my theory on it.
I'm anti-early lightsaber.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I bet that it's not going to happen until there is a conflict with Kylo and Luke.
Okay, all right. I might rephrase that. All right, I think that we will see Luke with a lightsaber, and I think it'll be red.
Oh, you don't think it'll be the green one?
I think that's going to be the mind blow reveal. Is that it's going to be a Luke situation. He's going to have what was the green lightsaber.
He's going to have corrupted it.
He corrupted his green lightsaber. That's my theory. That's pretty good.
Okay.
No on losing arm, because I think that the Force Awakens strayed. They used the C-3PO red arm. I think that was like the stand-in. I think that became a fan service detail that they don't feel like they need to do. I think that's what the prequels did wrong.
I think they will. It's been in most of them, and this one, the most famous one, I think, is Luke's hand in the Empire, and I think this one is going to echo the Empire a lot.
Okay.
So,
We'll see.
there you
We'll
go.
see. We need to have different answers.
That's true.
All right, so you're talking about that. So Force Awakens was very similar in tone to A New Hope. Do you think The Last Jedi will be similar in the same way to The Empire Strikes Back? Which is to say, do you feel like the bad guys are going to win?
I mean, you have so much more than a yes or no.
3, 2, 1.
Yes?
I think there are going to be 3 parties. I think you have the Resistance, you have the First Order, and I think you will have Kylo and Rey. And I think that Kylo and Rey will be the walk-away power is what's going to happen. So whether or not they win the battle, I think they will leave the movie united.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Interesting.
Yes.
I kind of agree with you on that front.
Okay.
But I guess my answer, I don't think the Resistance is going to be gaining much ground. If anything, I think the First Order, who lost the Starkiller base, is going to really come back with a vengeance in this one.
Somehow. Despite not having their best weapon and losing probably a majority of their...
Hey, you know what? They did an Empire. They're like, Death Star gone? No probs. No
Where
probs.
where do all these like soldiers come from?
By no probs, though, how does the Empire really win? They destroy the base on Hoth, they kidnap Han Solo, and take off Luke's hand. That's mostly what they do, right?
There is no way to be the Empire without somebody resisting you using terror as a means of power. There is no situation where they ever ultimately win without opposition.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Next
Moving on.
Do you have any bets on who will say, I have a bad feeling about this?
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so that line is in like every Star Wars movie.
Every Star Wars movie.
Some variation of that line.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes just the first half.
Maybe they did that because it wasn't a true Star Wars.
And again, that kind of goes back to losing the arm thing. I think that there's a little bit of fan serviceness happening with that particular quote, and so in Rogue One they cut K2 off halfway through saying it. So
It's
play that clip real quick.
I've got a bad feeling about it.
Quiet.
What?
See. Okay. So all right, this is I have a fun answer for this one too.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Rose?
Oh man, that is a good one.
I bet it's
It could
a
be.
new character.
It could be a new character.
So we don't know anything about this character really. Is she comic relief? Do you know? That's what I understand.
I think that she will be comic relief.
Okay.
Yes.
I've heard she's really good.
People love her. Is all of the reports coming out about that character. I think what might happen is something like where BB-8 says it to Rey, and Rey will say like, "Me too." So
Sure.
So it'll be like a situation that's dire, and he'll be like, "Whoop, whoop, whoop, whoop," and she'll be like, "Me too."
Bad feeling. Me too.
By the way, was that not the best BB-8
That's a pretty
impression
good
ever?
droid noise.
Thanks.
All right, so we've talked about how Rey might not actually be Rey's real name. Do you think her name is actually Rey?
Okay, so this is like I would say maybe a medium-ish SCB in-house theory, but based on the helmet that we see Rey wearing in The Force Awakens, we know that if you decode
the
name
Arabesh on the side of it, it says Rey.
it says Rey. So the theory then being that Rey was sort of left completely alone to the point where she doesn't even know what her own name is.
Right.
And she discovers this helmet, has a fascination with star pilots, and refers to herself in this way. The reason I felt like this was possible is because of Finn. Mm-hmm. And you can play clip.
Hey, what's your name?
FN2187. What?
FN, huh? Finn, I'm gonna call you Finn, is that alright?
Yeah. Finn, I like that.
See, so like Finn's name obviously isn't actually Finn. It's like what they call him.
Right.
So I think that was like the source of it. But that being said, 3, 2, 1.
Said no. You think her name is Rey?
I think that her name is Rey.
I think, okay, regardless of if they reveal like an actual name, she will continue to go by Rey.
Agreed, yeah. But I think the big thing about it is, for me, is this. Is Gray. I think that's why it's gonna be. The reason her name is Rey is literally a direct nod to the idea of a Grey Jedi. Sort of that.
I don't think she has
in-between.
forgotten. You mentioned you think she has forgotten her identity altogether, and I don't think that's the case. I think she has adopted, she tells BB-8 that she's like top secret, whatever. Like she's like keeping secrets. You know, I think she is deliberately lying when she tells Finn her name because it's like, well, I'm going to tell this stranger who I am. And the first name she goes to is the one on the side of the helmet.
Interesting. So you think Rey knows more than she lets on?
I think probably. But it also does a great job if she has a false name that she has like started to let spread. Then like other characters who do know about her then don't know it's
you
her.
wouldn't know it's her. That's a
Right.
very good point. So then if she is somehow related to somebody else, then...
They're not like, and they hear that this girl named Rey, they're not like, that's probably her.
Right.
Because they would think it's whatever her actual name is.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good point. That's
There
a
you
good
go.
point.
We'll
Okay.
see.
I might lose ground on that one.
All right, talking about Rey. Both trilogies prior have included an underlying love story. Is it going to be Reylo? Is it going to be Faye, which is Finn and Rey? None. What are your thoughts on the potential love story there? Maybe it'll be Rose and Finn.
I'm answering specifically as romance relates to Rey.
Okay.
Yes, that's fair. All right, yeah. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Rey stays single.
Yeah.
Completely agreed.
That's what I think.
Rey is way too strong of a character to need to fluff her with a romantic story.
I agree. I don't think that she needs it. I think it would like undercut the reason they cast a female as the main
Yeah,
lead.
no, completely.
I think she stays single.
I think even again at the end of Rogue One when you see sort of that moment, and people do question it whether or not there's a romantic thing happening between Jin and Cassian.
Yeah.
That
guy's name, right?
Cassian. I wear his watch, actually.
Yeah, it's a cool watch.
So I did not like it when my initial interpretation was that they had fallen in love there. A lot of people just say that it was a camaraderie type thing.
I kind of lean towards that myself.
Yeah, that's a better explanation.
They don't
for
like
it.
kiss or anything.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
So, whatever. I'm saying with no, I do think, now that you mentioned Rose, I can see her being like, I'm sure they want some romance somewhere.
Right, and even with Han and Leia, you know, like it's really like the Luke Skywalker story, and
right, and then
and-
they're like
and then
the
you're-
other two.
right to call them satellite characters would be incorrect, but yeah.
I'd go so far as to hope that it doesn't happen.
I would
hope
agree.
that
I would
hope
agree.
that doesn't happen.
Maybe that's what I'm
disappointed.
answering. This
Yeah.
is my hope.
Right.
I'll be disappointed. I'm going to play a clip for you.
I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now.
I like the clip play. That's
Yeah. So are we answering who is the raw strength?
Who is the raw
who has he
strength
seen
and
it once
who
in once before?
is he talking to?
Okay. So, and who is he talking to?
Sure.
Okay.
Because trailers like to lie.
Yes, they do. And this could even be like a lot of the trailer voiceover work they did with Luke could be very disjointed. This could be 2 sentences, so there's always that possibility. All right,
That's
3, 2, 1.
I think he's talking about Kylo and he's saying it to Rey.
I think he was talking about Darth Vader and talking to Rey. So
So this is what the trailer wants you to think, and I think it is accurate.
Yeah.
really,
I think so.
that is exactly what the trailer wants you to think because as he's saying it, they cut to a shot of Kylo.
Right.
That being said, I think that what has happened more is the power of Darth Vader. I think it's something that Luke underestimated because he didn't have a good scope of how powerful people were at that time. Mm-hmm. And I think Luke was in a very, very, very strategic position in being his son to where any other situation Darth Vader would have crushed him.
So do you think that he has like since learned much more about Darth Vader's past?
Yes.
Because like Darth Vader never does anything to Luke to like demonstrate unbelievable power.
Okay, right. And I think that we're learning more. I think the Star Wars universe currently is giving us the Darth Vader comic, which I won't go too deep
great.
into, but the amount of power we see out of him there is just completely unparalleled.
Completely outstrips anything we see Luke do. In
Not to mention, Vader is like the end all be all Force user. He
right.
is
Well, he's
born-
like the one who fulfills the prophecy and all that.
He's born of the
Born of
Force.
the Force.
Right. So I think that Luke lucked out with Vader that he was his son. I think that is the only way he got through that. I think when he witnesses it in Rey, it's like, oh geez.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be about Kylo, and he is just going to be like he's that whole. We'll see. We'll see. That's what they want you to think for sure.
What if Luke is talking about himself?
That's true. I wasn't afraid. Oh, like I didn't know how powerful I was.
Yeah.
I still have an issue with like where I wonder how well Luke genuinely stacks up as a Jedi.
I think he's probably pretty powerful.
Okay.
I also think the other options here. I think could be Palpatine. You know that he's talking about.
Sure. Or it could be
Oh, Vader, yeah, it could be Vader. There's really not that many options.
No, there really isn't. I mean, Luke has only encountered a small handful of Jedi.
It could basically be Vader, Palpatine, possibly Snoke if he's encountered him since.
True.
Yoda, even. It could be Yoda.
Could be Yoda.
It's probably not Obi-Wan. And it could be Kylo Ren. And I think that's pretty much the whole list.
I think it's probably actually Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Well, we will see. We will
We'll
see.
see.
Oh, man.
All right, up next.
All right, here's a big one. Snoke.
Who?
Sorry.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like,
Who is Snoke?
Who is Snoke? He's shrouded in mystery. What is his true identity? Is Snoke actually someone else? Is Snoke?
Okay, so I will start by outlining what I believe a couple of possible answers are. First would be that he's Palpatine, who somehow didn't die, even though in return he pretty super dies. That would be one thing, basically suggesting that Palpatine was pretty much all-knowing, that he wouldn't underestimate the power of a father and son love, and that his death was knowing he was losing the battle but would still ultimately win the war, would explain why he's slightly marred. The other would be Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis is like the really popular one. The thing is, it's like, who was it? Rian Johnson, the director?
Yes.
Right? He posted that thing that just said, your Snoke theories suck. And it just makes me think, like, okay.
You
like,
have no
it's
idea.
not the obvious thing. So that's what makes me think it's not Plagueis. Which
Okay.
seems like the obvious thing.
Let's reveal. 3, 2, 1.
I said, we have not met him before. He's a fallen Jedi.
I said Snoke,
Yeah.
and he is the Last Jedi. So Snoke is nobody, but that's what makes me think that he's the Last Jedi, is that his identity has to be impactful. Like, it has to matter who he is, because
a little bit.
or else, where has he been the whole time?
That's the problem when you try and think about Snoke, is like, if he's this like all-powerful guy, then why wasn't he around for like the Clone Wars?
Mm-hmm.
Where was he for that? There's like the other possibility in the Vader comics that talk about this like Baresh vow.
The Barash Val, yeah.
Which is like Jedi who like don't necessarily turn to the dark side, but just sort of stop believing in their ideals and just vow to like be on their own.
Right. So it's a separation basically from all engagement.
So I think he clearly has training. And it almost makes sense if he's a Jedi, because then Kylo Ren would like, why is he asking Vader to show him the dark side? Like, maybe Snoke is actually teaching Kylo Ren like how to use the light side for bad.
The scene where Kylo is talking to Vader's helmet is the most like enigmatic scene in the whole movie, because it's like, what even is happening here? Like, he says, I feel the pull to the light side. You know, Snoke feels it. It's like, if he says, let me help me finish what you started, if Snoke is the last Jedi and Vader was hunting Jedi, then it's like Kylo Ren is trying to get rid of Snoke and he's like double agenting the whole thing. And it means that Luke, saying that it's time for the Jedi to end. It could mean like Luke is talking about Snoke. You know, it's like, it could just, that all works. Meshes pretty good. It all works.
It just works pretty good.
Yeah, I love that. Was really good, by the way. As much as we talk about Star Wars and the fact that you haven't brought that exact sentence up, I'm so glad we got it on camera.
All right, great.
That was
cool.
Good. All
right,
well,
hopefully it's right.
Next question.
Han Solo dies in The Force Awakens. Spoilers. Will Luke survive this film, and will Leia survive this film?
Okay, so I think I'm gonna go more predictable on this one. You want to reveal?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
I said Luke yes, Leia no.
That's exactly what
I
said.
you have.
Okay, so my original theory on this is probably slightly unpopular. I don't think Mark Hamill is a particularly good actor.
Gonna be unpopular.
Yeah. So I think Luke, as an idea within the films, is bigger than him as a character in the films. So like all of The Force Awakens was again about Luke, and Luke doesn't speak once in the whole movie.
That's a good point.
I think what they run into was Carrie Fisher.
So you think that originally they were going to kill off Luke, but then Carrie Fisher died, so now they're going to kill off Leia?
100%.
That's your reason. So it's all like non-universe reasons.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Yep. Okay, so I think that Luke will survive. Well, I do think Leia will die because Carrie Fisher died. But I also think that Kylo Ren killed his father and will be confronted with killing his mother as well.
Correct.
Or his, possibly his mother. We'll see. Who knows about his actual
Yeah.
Here's to say. We'll come back to that later, I'm sure. I don't agree with you about Mark Hamill not being a good actor. I think even Rian Johnson has come out and said, I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Hamill wins an Oscar for this performance.
I was gonna come back to that. I wanted to have this conversation first and then say that. It's J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams said that.
Who directed The Force Awakens, not the Rian Johnson, director of The Last Jedi. But that's a huge statement. That's very good.
Yeah.
And I think that this would have been my belief based off of each one of the original trio dying in the original movies and not having heard that comment from J.J. Abrams originally. So I'm kind of sticking to what my original belief was versus then like what will come around. Okay. I do think that Mark Hamill is going to kill it.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm just so excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So next.
All right, Force Ghosts. Would you think that Yoda or Obi-Wan will appear as Force Ghosts, or maybe even Anakin for some reason?
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Obi-Wan and Yoda will appear.
I have.
I said, not Anakin or Qui-Gon.
You're right.
Who are the, I think the 4 known Force Ghost users?
Yes.
Qui-Gon is the first to ever do it.
Qui-Gon is the first to ever do it. That kind of goes back to the whole Wills thing. The WHILLS.
Oh, from Rogue One?
Yeah, from Rogue One.
Yeah.
The Wills was originally actually what George Lucas was going to call the Force.
Right.
Was the Wills. And I actually think that's going to end up having a much bigger appearance in this movie. The Journal of the Wills actually could be the book.
Oh, there's that little book. For sure. For sure.
The
That's got to
Journal
be
of
in
the Wills.
there.
Yeah. Which makes me think, yes, to Force Ghosts. I think we will see Yoda. I think that there was a leak that Frank Oz was on set.
I mean, even if he's on set, it's Star Wars, and he could just be there for the sake of being there.
Yes, and like the little Arctic Fox thing, I know that they are doing a lot of like puppeteering with
so
a
he
lot
can
of
be
other
just
stuff. He could have purely been there for other
puppets.
expertise.
But, I mean, everyone wants to see Yoda.
Everyone wants to see Yoda. I think it would make the most sense. The original voice is still there. I think it would have gotten out if Ewan McGregor was going to appear. So
you don't think Obi-Wan will?
So I don't think Obi-Wan will because I think we would have found out.
Maybe, but they are doing an Obi-Wan movie, so it would be good to like reintroduce the character to the next generation. You know?
That is true. That is true.
Like, from like a stupid marketing non-universe reason.
So Sir
Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor's voices were in The Force Awakens.
Yes, which I think is a very good argument for. They have even recycled the Sir Alec Guinness in Force Awakens, and in Rogue One they used recycled X-Wing footage.
Yeah.
So there is something to be said for the ability to keep them off of the IMDb cast page and still use them.
Like just use their like old. Oh my gosh, that would be great.
That would be sweet.
What a sneaky way to do it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So depending on how much like extra footage they have and how they could like work it, that would be. My jaw would hit the floor.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So I am basing this more off of reading way too many articles about the production of Star Wars and less about plot.
Okay. Next.
BB-9 is a new droid in the film. So in Rogue One, we saw K2SO, who is an Imperial droid reprogrammed to work for the Rebellion. So you think that BB-9 is going to be a good droid or a bad droid or somewhere in between? Maybe a bad droid that goes good?
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Bad droid.
Good droid.
No. Oh my God.
Yes.
You're kidding. Okay. Let me tell you something. There are no bad droids in Star Wars minus the entire droid army.
Well, let me tell you something. There are no bad droids in Star Wars.
Minus the droid army. General Grievous. No, he's not even a droid.
I'm making the exact same argument for the exact opposite reason.
Okay, so I think they're going to try and break ground, and you think they're going to stay the course.
Yes. The one version of that I could see would be more along the lines if he is Kylo Ren's personal droid, which he does bear a likeness to.
So then he's sort of like an anti-hero droid.
So then his allegiance is to Kylo Ren. So he's not really an Imperial droid. He just helps Kylo.
I thought he was. I think he's on Snoke's big ship. I forget what it's called. But
Is that where we see him?
I think that's what I think he's maybe like Snoke's droid.
Okay.
Or something.
So, well, that would be interesting.
Why would he-
Especially because he's got like the Praetorian guards. He doesn't need a droid.
I don't know. That's the thing. Like the bad guys always underestimate the droids, but like. Man, reprogramming droids to be good guys is like just such an overused trope in Star Wars, and I don't want it to be the case.
You tired of it?
I'm tired of it. I want a bad droid who if the bad guys are gonna win, this is a great way.
To like have the droid help.
Have the droid help, like really mess things up.
Right. Sure.
Snoke's ship is the Supremacy.
The Supremacy, Supreme Leader,
Supremacy.
is wise.
I would say the only other possible I would call it is we know that Finn and Rose are going to go undercover, and it would be entirely possible that this droid accompanies them.
That better not be the case.
Yeah.
It is too many times. It is too many times.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
honestly,
want
you
it.
will be disappointed.
I will be disappointed if he's good. I want this guy to wreck. I want him to have infiltrated the other way around.
Oh man.
You know? Yeah.
What if he actually works as a double agent?
A double agent droid.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Everything
Anyway.
is fair game.
Porgs. Do you think the Porgs are going to be fun, or are they going to be more annoying?
What do you mean? Okay, so you're talking like critical reception?
Yeah, like are they going to be like Gungans, or are they going to be like Wookiees?
Wookiees, right. Oh gosh, the Porgs make me so freaking nervous.
Oh, me too. They're like way too adorable and way too marketable, and I'm like, please don't be something. Don't be like little minions or something. Don't be.
Right, I know.
Don't have some giant, big plot effective role. Just be cute little comic. They make me nervous.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1.
I thought they're gonna be loved.
I said cute.
Right, there you go.
Okay.
I think they're going to handle it well.
I'm
super nervous, but I have faith.
I think that they are very, very aware of that misstep that could happen, and I think they will avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. Because obviously it happened previously. So
Yes.
all right, I'm gonna play another trailer clip.
This is not going to go the way you think.
Who do you think he's talking to?
I have two big guesses for who it is.
That's really what it comes down to. Which one?
Right. I know. I think that there are as many as 3 possibles.
I think there's as many as 4, but I have 2.
Okay. I'm curious about what your possibles are then.
Okay, well, hold on, I'll write them down.
Yeah.
I wrote them in order of what I think likelihood is.
Okay. This is what I'm gonna go with. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Ray.
I said Ray.
Okay, you think it's Ray too? This is what the trailer would have you believe again.
This is what the trailer would have you believe.
It's hard to say.
The only thing that I can say against Rey is that like she's going to have to gain a lot of knowledge. So right now, like the big issue with Rey is that she is this like she is very powerful but lacks all knowledge. Whereas Luke is going to have a lot of knowledge, you know, and not sure how to handle her.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is whether or not she needs to have enough of a plan. She needs to learn enough to have a plan for him to argue with that plan.
Yeah. So,
Leia was one of mine.
Leia was my second. That's the second most likely one. Like I think she might have a plan for Rey, and Luke might say,
I do not think that Leia and Luke will share screen time.
"Oh, I totally disagree."
I'm with you on that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I do not think they'll reunion.
Bonus point for me if that happens.
Fair. I
Totally
do
fair.
not think. Yeah, we should have made that a question.
Man.
Yeah. Okay. So
The other options I had were Kylo and Snoke.
I had Kylo on
Like
there
if
as
he
well.
like re-encounters him and like tells him he's gonna go kill Leia or kill Rey or something, and whatever. And
Right.
then Snoke telling him how he's gonna take over the galaxy or something, and the thing about Luke is it's so weird. This is going back to the other question of who will die. It's like you always have to have like the big good, the big bad, and then like they're like star pupil, right? So you have like Snoke and Kylo, and you're gonna have like Luke and Rey, and it's like the way storytelling works is that you must kill the big good because otherwise there's no reason for their pupil to be the star.
Right.
Like you have to kill Dumbledore because otherwise there's no reason for Harry to fight Voldemort.
Right, because otherwise
Right.
Dumbledore would just
Otherwise,
do it.
Dumbledore would just do it. And it's like, you have to kill Yoda because otherwise he could just do it. And you have to kill Obi-Wan because otherwise he could just do it.
Right.
It's like you have to force Luke into it. So it's like, that's why I know Luke is gonna die. Unless he like flips sides or something.
Sure.
But even then he could die because he flips sides. It's just,
It's even possible that Kylo and Rey will both just, become their own team versus the good bad and the good good.
True.
Big good.
Who knows? But I think Luke is talking to Rey in that sentence.
Perfect.
Okay. Next.
Forward.
Okay, so Kylo Ren is the master of the Knights of Ren. Are we gonna see the other Knights of Ren?
All right, 3, 2, 1.
I said, we better. Nope. You said nope? Yeah. I say, I think we will, but God, if we don't, we should have. Because it's like, why the mystery?
The Knights of Ren are a total casting issue. Way too many people to try to include too many characters. No way to do it. Unless there's a movie about... So, the Knights of Ren is the equivalent of Rogue One. You make a story about Jyn and her support team. There's
the Kylo Ren spin-off movie.
There is not enough time. And yes, I think that as long as they're going to continue to make a Star Wars movie, as long as we are alive, at some point in time we will see the Kylo Ren movie that will explain how he became the master of the Knights of Ren.
Well, we shall see. We shall see.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so 2 new characters that haven't had a whole heck of a lot of press are DJ and Rose. Do you have any predictions for DJ and Rose?
I think this will sum it up.
Okay, so Benicio del Toro plays DJ.
DJ.
I believe this is accurate, and we can either cut this or just include it for conversation's sake. He was originally cast as Darth Maul, and then when he found out how few speaking lines Maul had, he actually pulled out. So this will be the second time that he is in the movie.
In Star Wars.
Yeah. All right, so 3, 2, 1.
I said for DJ, new Lando, and I said for Rose, Finn romance.
Interesting. So we have the same thing, DJ, Lando. I think he's going to be not good, not bad.
Right, he's just like a scoundrel.
Right, exactly.
Star Wars is scoundrels are like a class of character in.
Yeah, completely.
I mean, like, they're really what, I mean, you had Han in the last movie who... It's weird that he counts as a scoundrel, but like that's sort of the role he plays.
Well, it's what he was before. I mean, it's part of his character arc.
Yeah,
he originally was a scoundrel that turned general.
And so they killed him and didn't really have another one in line. And so it'd be weird to have a Star Wars movie without one.
Yes. I think that Rose will just be a full-blown comic relief.
You think full-blown?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she'll be super funny.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if there's a romance there. I don't know why. I guess my gut has never told me romance, but if they were going to have one, they would need to have included somewhere.
Sure. That's what. Yeah. You need another like big female character for someone to fall in love with.
Sure.
You know? Maybe it's Phasma. Yeah. That's the unseen story arc. Phasma falls in love
with Finn.
Oh boy.
With that,
okay.
Finn versus Phasma. Who wins that fight? Because we've seen the fight in the trailers.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Phasma.
Finn is just awful at fighting.
Finn,
especially hand to hand. I mean, he lost to a stormtrooper. Okay. A stormtrooper.
He is a stormtrooper.
He is a stormtrooper.
I don't care.
I think, yeah. I mean,
we had a lightsaber. Okay.
We learned that Finn. All right. So this is the thing about Finn. Yeah, is that
he's not going to be the commander of the stormtroopers.
Anyway. Well, he was in sanitation. Like that was like one of his roles as a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a whole lot of actual combat experience yet. So
clearly,
I think Phasma will beat him. I do think that will be a running thing. As long as both characters are alive, I think it will be Finn versus Phasma.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, totally.
Definitely.
I'll bet it doesn't resolve with this movie even.
Although, you know, they would have such a fun relationship name if they ended up getting together. It could be, wait for it, Phasma.
Yeah! With an F.
Do you see what I did there?
Yes, I did. Do you think Phasma is going to have her helmet come off? Are we going to see a Gwendolyn Christie's face?
3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet. Episode 9.
I think so. Eventually.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So I have said this from the beginning. You do not cast such a great actress for that role to put her underneath the stormtrooper.
I agree. It's just like it seems like you'd want the actress herself would probably want screen time. You'd think.
Right. I mean, maybe your involvement in a Star Wars film.
Here's how I can see it happening in this movie. So. Okay. I do think Finn is just going to get destroyed, but you can't like have your main one of your main good guys not put up a good fight. So I think he could like knock part of her mask off or open or something, and you could like see some of her face.
Interesting.
Because like she literally tells him in the first movie like, "Who told you to remove your helmet?" Like,
right.
She's one who does not remove her helmet.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but then also you get Kylo Ren removes his helmet. You see Finn remove his helmet as a stormtrooper. First stormtrooper we've ever seen helmetless.
Yep.
It's totally a thing, like sort of this like reveal of the true identity. I think Gwendolyn would totally fit in rebel attire. She just seems like that's what
you think she'd flip.
I think she would flip. Yeah.
I mean, we've made a video about whether or not Phasma is good or bad. Even in the comic, like when they explain how she escapes, like the first thing she's trying to do is hunt down a First Order officer, like to save her own butt. But it's like she's still going to eliminate an officer and keep undercover. Then
she's
very. We'll see.
Right.
She didn't do much. She got her.
That's the
ineffective
thing.
in the first movie.
We'll see more of it, but you're exactly right, and I think it follows even that ending scene with Rey versus Kylo in The Force Awakens, where like the floor breaks between them. It's like the end of that battle should have ended with one of them dying.
Right.
Like someone wins. So like what lightsaber fight ends with like people mutually running off in other directions?
Oh my gosh, all of them in Clone Wars.
Right.
All of them. If you watch the series, that's like the worst thing about that series is that they're never gonna actually kill Dooku or Grievous. Like every time they cross blades, you're like, no one's gonna die.
Right.
There's no threat here.
Over under, Poe Dameron destroys 20 TIE fighters.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Over.
Yeah.
For sure.
Over or more.
Or more. Yeah. What does that mean? Over is more.
I think if Poe Dameron had a sticker for every TIE fighter he killed on his helmet, he wouldn't be able to see out of the front of it.
Right.
Yeah. I think we're going to see Poe in a space dogfight this time, as opposed to like a low-level atmosphere fight.
Right.
And there's just going to be way more to destroy.
Way more to destroy. In one scene, and we can just start B-rolling it while I'm talking. In one scene in The Force Awakens, when he rolls in and Finn's got that's one heck of a pilot. Finn, he must destroy 15 TIE fighters.
It is so many in like 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
It's
so quick.
It's so they do such a good job with it because they can make it really like corny, like, I don't know. Like, I was impressed with how impressed I was.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, they could have just been like, oh, this guy's just good at flying, and I don't know. They could have done it poorly.
They show you instead of tell you that he's the best pilot.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you think he's dead, which is
true.
Great. So
you don't even know that it's
You don't even
Poe.
know it's him.
Right.
Yeah.
God, I forgot about that. It's like it's crazy
you
going back
disappeared.
to what you didn't know the first time you watched it.
Right.
Yeah, right? Do you feel like Finn is going to be Force sensitive? Or maybe even other characters that, like maybe Rose or DJ or something?
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
No.
Okay. Fair. I think that we keep seeing more of this new idea of understanding and believing the Force. We see Maz talk about it. She says, I'm no Jedi, but I know the Force. We know that Jyn Erso's mother had like the Kyber crystal.
Yeah.
And I believe possibly there's a soundbite, we could play it here, where she says,
"Trust the Force."
I know, there's like the Church of the Force.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Or like the Asian, I forget his name, the Asian guy in
Rogue One.
Rogue One is like, I am the Force is with me, or whatever.
Yes.
I also forget his name.
Yeah.
I really like that character.
He was really good.
Like,
one of my all-time favorites is when they put the bag over his head and he's like, "Are you kidding me? I'm blind."
Yeah. And then like even like Del in the video game in Battlefront, he says he found the Force, but I don't think he's Force sensitive. So I think Finn believes in it and will like follow the Force and stuff, but I don't think he's gonna be able to like do anything special because of it.
No, I don't either. But I think I think that there will have been some type of manipulation of the Force, which is what brought him to the turncoat to the.
Interesting.
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, the basic psychology of it, you've been brainwashed your entire life.
Very hard to wake up from.
Very hard to wake up from.
Because it's not even waking up. You're not waking up.
You have no other reality.
You have no other reality.
Yeah. There's nothing to compare it to. Every bit of information you have ever had has been manipulated to make you think a certain way.
Yeah. So it'd be weird to just have like a moral revelation.
Yes.
Of your own accord.
do you feel like Rey and Kylo Ren are going to join forces, aside from any sort of romantic thing or romantic undertone there at all? Do you feel like they're going to join up?
3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Yep. 100%.
Totally. I think you were right. We've talked about it a little bit already in this video.
Yes.
Like, I think whatever happens throughout the movie, both of them will come to realize that the side that they were fighting for is as corrupt as the other side, and they'll both realize that the other one has realized that, and there you go.
Yep,
Right.
I agree 100%.
Yep.
I think that's also part of the marketing too. Like you see all of the blue side, red side faces on all the like the Instagram posts that you can switch back and
Yes. Yeah.
forth. I think that's exactly what it's going to be.
Yep.
All right. The final question.
Final question.
And just the biggest question on just everyone's minds.
Oh gosh.
Here we
What
go.
are the final bets on Rey's parentage?
I just can't decide.
It's very hard.
It's
I'm doing this. I feel like this. You know what? The phrasing of the question makes me answer it this way. You know, it's like if I was betting on it. This seems like the safest bet.
okay. You ready? 3,
Yep.
2, 1.
So it's Skywalker.
Okay. I said no one. No one we know. At most, born of the Force.
Interesting. Did she still have to have a mother though?
She would still have to have a mother. I don't think it matters who the mother is.
I'm saying Skywalker. I mean Luke is her father. Is what I meant with that.
Yeah.
Up until like today, I probably would have stuck with Del and Iden.
Yeah,
Until
we got-
there
we
was
got-
a new Battlefront trailer that pretty much just shows you their daughter and it's not Rey.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's them anymore.
Yeah. Off chance we will see them.
That being said, I feel like I said, I think that's the safest bet. I also think it's just so possible that Leia and Han are Kylo Ren's adopted parents, and that Luke is actually his father, and that what you're saying about Rey is that her parents still won't be revealed.
I think that's entirely possible. I think that if you can do that mind blow reveal of the no, I am your father.
Yeah.
And you could have Kylo. Yeah. We've talked about that several times. I think that that's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back to me thinking that phrase that Luke says, I've only seen this power once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now. If I said Vader and Rey,
Mm-hmm.
if they are both born of the same origin,
Right,
it
sure.
would make sense that Vader had it in just this nth factor way,
Right.
and that's the only way that Rey shares it.
So that's possible. It was spam.
Telemarketer in the middle of our video.
Kidding me, and I had to have the volume up because it could be the hospital for any other reason, whatever.
All right, so my big thing is the whole point of the prophecy is to bring balance to the Force. I think you can very well argue that Vader kills all of the Jedi and all of the Sith.
Pretty much.
So, pretty much brings balance to the Force. I don't think in the way that the Force wanted it to be balanced. So I think with the Second Coming, you might see a more controlled version
Maybe.
of balance to the Force.
Maybe.
I do not think that Rey will go on to be a Jedi.
Oh, I don't either.
So.
Yeah. Or at least, unless they have like some new phrase like new Jedi or...
They will have a term for it.
Yeah,
100%,
I'm
but-
sure they'll have like a name for her kind of Force userdom.
Yes. Yes.
There you
Okay.
go. Those are our best predictions. We will compare post The Last Jedi to see who was more accurate.
More accurate, or most of these questions are null and
Or
void, and
that's
it
right.
won't matter.
Maybe Star Wars 1, we asked all of the wrong questions.
Oh, that would be exciting in its own way. But for
Yeah.
our question of the day, which theory do you like best? Which one do you align with the most? Be sure to leave it in the towel section down below.
Yes, I want lots of arguing about lots of Star Wars down there.
Lots and lots of Star Wars arguments. Also, guys, don't forget to go check us out on Instagram, where we are doing our December Give-a-thon event, where the next
Win
week
this.
will be all sorts of Star Wars swag. It's going to be incredibly cool, including all of the things you see here, pretty much. But Jay, I think that's all for today.
Yeah. Bye.